Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us. We are at the Cloud Expo 2011 show at the Jacob Javits Center in Manhattan. On our program is Liza Adams, the VP of Marketing at Virtela. Liza, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rich. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I was hoping you could start off by telling us a little bit about Virtela and your place in the cloud.
Sure. So Virtela is a managed services provider, providing services globally. We're actually the world's largest independent managed network security and cloud services company. We're headquartered in Denver, Colorado, and we have global operations centers in Denver, Mumbai, India, and Manila, Philippines. We serve some of the largest mid-market and Fortune 500 customers. We help them in a number of things. So we help them secure and connect their offices and remote users. We help them accelerate their applications, secure their networks and their applications, manage their mobile devices, including employee-owned devices, as well as manage their LANs and WANs, security, and video conferencing and IP telephony devices. But most of all, we're known for providing incredible support for our customers, with about 99% of our trouble tickets open proactively, about 95% of our problems resolved at first call, and 99% of the issues resolved before they significantly impact the network health. And in terms of our cloud strategy, we are constantly putting in the forefront our business model that is vendor, technology, and network agnostic, allowing our company to provide flexible and personalized services to companies. We have built this cloud architecture that is open in nature, allowing us to provide any service to any location, regardless of the underlying service provider. We also have built this architecture to be locally distributed. What that means is that we have 50 data centers or local cloud centers deployed around the world, close in proximity to the end users.
So that's kind of like caching, more or less, right? It's like local caching to speed up the application delivery.
Caching is part of the technology that we use in these local cloud centers, but the key in making these data centers close to the end users is that you don't have to route traffic halfway around the world to one or two or even a handful of data centers. We can very quickly serve that traffic as quickly as possible right at the point of entry where that traffic is. And these 50 local cloud centers are deployed in major financial centers throughout the world. And last but not least, the platform is also optimized for virtualized devices. So we negate the need for a single device per service. So you can incrementally add services very quickly on this network platform.
Great. Now, we know that there's a lot of growth in cloud storage, cloud computing, cloud applications. Are there other areas that you're seeing growth?
Absolutely, great question. As you've mentioned, there's a lot of growth in those areas, but what we've seen nowadays is that we're seeing a lot of growth in using cloud for networking, security, and mobility. After the downturn, a lot of companies have really come out of that downturn growing significantly, adding end users, adding customers, adding locations, applications, and some are even going through mergers and acquisitions. And it may sound trite that many companies are growing, but this growth presents an opportunity and also a challenge for IT managers, particularly at multinational companies. With multinational companies, those problems get exacerbated because we now have this issue with latency, but because of the sheer distance between locations that could potentially impact the performance of the applications. We also have issues around limited IT resources, particularly in remote areas of the world. And of course, budget constraints. And in third world countries, you also have issues with lack of technology options, lack of local provider options, and you also have some customs and cultural issues. So with multinational companies, we're seeing a lot more of these companies looking to manage cloud service providers to help them mitigate some of those issues.
Now, you mentioned networking, mobility, and security a little bit earlier, and there's such big areas, such fast-growing areas. Mm-hmm. What else is happening in those spaces?
Yeah, so let me just give you some examples, and that might help explain some of these new services. So on the networking side, there is cloud-based application acceleration. So as an example, Virtela, we're able to accelerate applications 5 to 25 times faster.
Is that because of your local data
Yes,
center?
with the local cloud centers deployed throughout the world. And we're accelerating applications like email, web collaboration, Windows file transfer, CRM, ERP, and even storage applications. And we've also launched the world's first end user experience guarantee. So, which basically means that if the end users do not experience faster application response time, we refund 250% of the service charge to that user. The other thing, so on the security side, we're seeing a lot more traction in cloud-based security, and that means cloud-based firewalls, IPS, web filtering, and even SIM, or security information and event management. So it's not just the tracking and the monitoring of these events, but it's also the correlation of all of these events so that the company can have a holistic view and they can act upon security threats and develop their strategic security strategies. And then last but not least, we talked about mobility. This is a very hot topic nowadays. With most of us having 2 or 3 mobile devices, IT managers are really having this challenge of securing and managing those devices. So we have a cloud-based MDM, or mobile device management service, that allows companies to manage any mobile device, be it Android, an iPad, or an iPhone, to secure it from theft or loss or viruses. We also help them control which applications you can or cannot access, as well as control costs for mobility usage, whether it's data, voice, text, and we also have a notification guarantee that notifies the IT manager when these violations have been reached.
Now, yesterday, Steve Jobs announced the iCloud service. Does that have any effect on the cloud market, do you think? Does that make it grow faster?
I think there's going to be a significant push, in the cloud. I think this is just another big area that's being promoted out there, and I think there's going to be a lot of influence in the market on cloud with this announcement.
Now we've got companies thinking about going to the cloud. What are some of the reasons they should consider going and not, I guess, either they're going to store something in their local data center, they're going to build a data center, they're going to adapt an existing data center.
Yeah.
Give me the pros on why they should consider going to the cloud.
Yep. So very good question, and I think it might help to also talk about what are some of these evaluation criteria that they're looking for, right? So I think some of the pros for going to the cloud, and I think many companies have already touted the benefits of the flexibility that it provides and also all of the cost savings that it offers. But there's some key evaluation criteria. Not all clouds are created equal. So first, this openness and this independence. As end users and as companies, we don't want to be locked into a solution. So we need to look for cloud implementations that are open in nature, that are open to new vendors, open to supporting different underlying infrastructures, so that you don't need to have a cloud for specific things. You'll have a cloud that can support different technologies and different vendors. The other thing is look for distributed infrastructures, one that's close to end users. If it's a store and forward application, it's okay to have to route traffic halfway around the world before you do something with it. But if you're primarily looking at real-time applications, those need to be serviced very quickly at point of entry into the cloud. The other thing to consider is look at cloud service providers that offer a range of services, networking, security, and mobility, because those are all very interrelated with each other. With the multinational companies, these are some of their biggest challenges. Fourth, I would say look for SLAs. And we're not talking about just guarantees based on infrastructure performance. Let's talk about what's really relevant to the company, meaning what's the experience of the end user? What's the productivity of the end user? So look for cloud service providers that are doing that. And then last but not least, support. You can have the best technology out there, best infrastructure, but we did a survey of over 400 IT leaders and multinational companies, and they basically said we're happy with managed service providers, but the key area of improvement that we want is in the area of support.
Right.
And that's in better understanding their needs, providing personalized and flexible services, proactive notification of problems, and timely communications. Those are the most critical things for them.
So in our final 30 seconds, what's next?
I think end users can pretty much count on deep integration between networking, security, and mobility services. I think the integration of those things will be addressing some very critical challenges that end users have today, and managed service providers can help mitigate that. Right. Without breaking the bank and without the companies expending a lot of their precious IT resources.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
All right. Thank you, Rich.
Nice to meet you.
Take care.